Beginners as part of St. Louis Yoga Week. I'm Jackie Kinealy. I'm a yoga teacher here in St. Louis at Urban Breath Yoga Studio. And the intention for this Yoga for Beginners class is to give you a warm and easy and feel good and friendly introduction to the practice of yoga, whether this is your first time ever unrolling your yoga mat, or maybe you don't have a yoga mat yet and you're just on your floor. That's totally fine. Or you're coming back to the practice after having been gone for a while, or maybe you just want a refresher of the basics. This is going to be easy breezy, nothing to be scared of. I hope it feels good for you, and I hope it is like a dipping your toe in the waters of yoga, and that you'll want to come back for more later. So the only prop we'll need, maybe a blanket, but if you don't have a blanket around, that's fine. You don't need one. You don't need one, but you can set that off to the side if you've got it. We're going to focus a lot. My little microphone got lost down there. We're going to focus a lot on breathing today, on some fundamental postures, and also cultivating these general skills of body awareness, on relaxing tension where it's not serving anything, where it's held habitually, and sending good, strong, clear effort in to where you do need it. So with that in mind, come with me to lie on your back. And if your head, you guys go ahead and lie down. I'm just going to adjust this. If your head and neck feel more comfortable with the support of a blanket or like a pillow underneath your head and neck, feel free to do that. Okay. Lying down, bend your knees and place both of your feet on the ground. Take your arms where they're comfortable, perhaps stretched out to the side with the palms facing up. And begin to notice the imprint of your feet on the ground, your footprint. And spread out your toes as much as you can and notice that you have 10 toes. Feel all 10 toes settling down. The arch of your foot, the heel, the ball of your foot. Imagine the bottoms of your feet broadening and softening. Scan your body up from your feet to the back of your hips, the back of your pelvis, the sacrum, the tailbone, and feel there too broaden and soften into the floor. And scan up, imagine you're relaxing low back. Let the back low ribs melt down into the ground. And travel up to the shoulder blades, let the shoulder blades release down. And finally, your head. Release the weight of your skull back and down. And sometimes that takes a little bit to do because we're so used to holding our head up. So think about it again. Release the weight of your head into the floor. If you'd like, if it's comfortable for you to do so, bring your hands to your low belly. And if it's not, then don't worry. Hands can just stay out to the side. Breathe in and notice if your low belly rises. Breathe out, notice if it sinks. If it is, keep breathing. Nice inhale, rise, and exhale, sink. And if you're finding the opposite here, if you're finding that on inhale, belly goes in, shrinks, and the exhale, the belly expands up, that's pretty common. It's called reverse breathing, and it's not the way that we want to breathe. So it can take a little bit to relearn, but it's just through gentle focus that we do relearn that. So however you're finding your breath, inhale, imagine a balloon expanding, front, back, and sides. Exhale, let air out of the balloon. It's like a pulse. Inhale. Exhale. Now let your breath continue. Imagine gentle waves on the beach. Feel your whole body and breathe. Feel your whole self here and breathe. The invitation for practice is, why are you here on your mat? Why did you decide to show up to start or restart your yoga practice? What transformation are you seeking, conscious or under the surface? Why are you here? That could come through as a word or a phrase or a feeling, but keep that with you. It's like you dropped a bath bomb into the waters around your practice, and it's just going to infuse and be here with every breath. Why are you here doing this practice? Let that be. Let your bath bomb dissolve. Come back to your breathing, back to the feeling of your feet and the back of your hips on the ground. Take your hands overhead, whether they're resting on your belly or at your sides, and give a nice stretch. Exhale, right knee in towards chest. Hands go to your shin. So this might be a good place for you to stay. Another option is to stretch out the left leg, point the toes up towards the ceiling, and reach through the bottom of your foot. So you're lengthening the front of your left thigh here. This pose is called Appanasana, or wind relieving pose. So you can take that as you want. Could relieve some wind. Right knee draws in towards your chest, left leg stretches out. Take one more deep breath here. And as you exhale, lower your right foot to the ground. If your left leg's extended, bend the knee, bring it in, both feet on the ground. Feel into your feet, feel into the back of your seat. As you breathe in, stretch your arms overhead again and push down into your feet, down into the floor as your hands reach back. Exhale, left knee comes in. Right leg can stay how it is, or you can stretch your right leg out. Either way, the right foot is broad and wide and pushing either into the floor or into the air, whichever one you've got. And the left leg in towards the chest. And just a nice, simple breath. No fancy way to breathe right now. Just that you are breathing and that you're noticing it, you're feeling it. And listen to your breath. We'll match an exhalation with bringing the left foot back down to the floor. And bring your right foot back in too, both feet on the ground. Arms stretch out wide, palms face the ceiling. Heel toe your feet out as wide as your mat. And like windshield wipers, both knees go to the right, to the center, to the left. So do that a couple more rounds. Inhale, knees go to the center. And exhale, knees go to one side, and you alternate. One element of a yoga practice is that the breath, our intention at least, is for the breath to always be in the awareness, and often for the movements to be linked with the breath. It can be almost hypnotic when you really get into it, movement with breath. Let's go once more to each side. Next time your knees are over to the side, over to the right side, draw your left thigh bone down a little closer to the ground. It doesn't have to be a big force or a big push, just a little closer to the ground. And maybe you feel a stretch here in the front of your right hip, like the very top of your thigh. You feel that? Spread your left toes as much as you can. And go back to center. To the other side, same thing. So knees are over to the left, right thigh bone's reaching down, right baby toes are spreading wide. And slowly back to the center. Here, feet, hips, shoulders, head, softening down, grounded, safe. Inhale. Exhale, lift your feet off the floor, bring your knees in towards your chest. Roll to one side and press your hands into the ground to come to a seat. If you have your blanket, you may want to use it here underneath the very back of your hips. So oftentimes in yoga class, you're asked to start in a seat, and it could be legs crossed. That's not comfortable for everybody though, so here are a few other options. You could be on your shins, and your blanket could be underneath your hips here, like the back of your seat. Or if you have a block at home, if you have a yoga block as a prop, you can sit the block right underneath your sit bones, the base of your pelvis. Or if your knees are a little bit tricky, you can also just sit with your legs outstretched. If you're at home too, or you are at home, or maybe someone else's house, you can sit in a chair too. So there's no shame in sitting in a chair if that's more comfortable. It doesn't have to be on the ground. So cross legs, shins on the ground, legs outstretched, or get yourself a chair. Any way that you're comfortable. Any way that you can feel grounded through your sit bones, through your legs, long through your spine, and relaxed in your shoulders, in your jaw, in your eyes, in your hands. So let's find that feeling. Blink your eyes until they feel comfortable to close. And if it's not comfortable to close, eyes are soft, gaze is soft. Now imagine your sit bones, these bones at the base of your pelvis, are magnets drawn down to the magnetic core of the planet. Your leg bones soften down. The base of your skull floats, just the base lifts up, which brings your chin down a little, lengthens your spine. Imagine a halo over the crown of your head shining up, and relax your hands. Now, where's the thread of your breath? Come back to it. Breathe so it feels good. Breathe so it's comfortable. Relax your stomach, relax your chest. Slide your hands off your lap. Bring your fingertips to the floor. Let's do another breath to movement. Eyes could stay closed if you'd like. Rooted through the seat. Lift your right arm as you inhale, bringing it overhead in a side stretch. Exhale, hand comes back down to the floor. Same thing on the left side. If that didn't work for your shoulder, bring fingertips to top of shoulder and point your elbow up. So your arm doesn't have to come all the way over your head, but you're still getting the stretch in your side. Inhale, right arm up. Exhale, down. Inhale, left arm up. Exhale, down. Side to side. Think of your hand as a paintbrush, and your breath is the paint. And you're painting through the air the whole amount of breath. So the bottom of your exhale is the moment your fingers touch the floor. And the top of your inhale is the peak of this stretch, when you feel the stretch in your side. Inhale to lift and lengthen. Exhale to lower and ground. Let's do one more each side. Next time your left fingers come towards the ground, let's keep all the fingertips on the ground and push down into the floor. And if you are in a chair, you just reach through your fingers. Imagine your fingers like 10 tap roots going down into the ground. Seat is grounded, base of skull's lifting, spine is long. Feel your whole body and breathe. Feel your whole body and breathe. Feel your inhale. Stretch your arms upward with your inhale. And it's a twist. Turn your torso to the right. Bring your left hand in front, your right hand in back. Left hand can either rest at the center of your lap, or maybe you turn a little more and bring your left hand to your outer right thigh. Right fingertips are tap roots behind you. Inhale, feel your spine lengthen, base of skull lifting. Exhale, maybe there's a little bit more twist you can get here. Think of your rib cage turning. Inhale, lengthen. Focus on the twist when you exhale. Even if you don't twist any deeper, you might be at a good point for yourself. Full breath in. Full breath out. And back to the center as you breathe in. Hands can just stay relaxed at the lap. Fold, exhale. If you're in a chair, you just bring your chest downward. If you're on your knees, same thing. Walk your hands back up. Meet me in a seat. Hands on the lap. Fingertips slide to the ground. Tap roots, pushing down. Breathe out. Relax tension in your jaw, your tongue, your mouth, your eyes. Stretch your arms up towards the ceiling, breathing in. Turn torso to the left, breathing out. Left hand back, right hand forward. Right hand, it can be at the center or outside the thigh. And 3 breaths here. Inhale. Exhale. If you keep breathing deeply into your belly and you're in a twist, it can be like a massage for your internal organs as your diaphragm keeps moving and your lungs keep expanding, but you're in this gentle twist. It can massage your deepest tissues, improve your blood flow, make you feel healthier. Upon your inhale, release, come back to the center. And we fold on an exhalation. If your legs are crossed, switch the cross of your legs and bring your chest down. Deep breath. Hands walk back towards you. Nice tall spine. From here, we'll come out of the seat and shift to tabletop, hands and knees. Here's another place you might want your blanket underneath your knees. And again, if your knees are real sensitive or you're recovering from a knee surgery or an injury, you could just stay in your chair and do this next piece here of cat and cow in your chair. So if you are on the ground, hands are nice and wide, knees are about underneath the hips, and fingers spread apart from each other with the index fingers parallel and pointing forward. As you breathe in, you'll let your low belly melt towards the floor, so you're kind of making a trough in your back. Lift your chest, your chin, and your tail. Now we'll exhale, begin to reverse that action of the spine to arch the back in cat pose. Go forward and back with the breath, inhaling, the belly melts, the sternum lifts, the chin lifts. Exhale, round your back. Think about pushing the floor away with straight arms and wide palms. The aim here is to warm up the spine, flexion and extension in the spine. You can keep going back and forth cat and cow like this, or as you're feeling it more, as you're noticing your body more, feel free to maybe move into other planes, other dimensions. Hips rolling back towards the heels, circling the hips. Maybe you spend a moment feeling your shoulder blades move towards each other and away from each other. So much of the practice of yoga is cultivating an awareness of the body. The body can signal to us when we feel stressed, when we may not even know it. It can grip onto the tension and hold it. And the better we become at noticing that and noticing our bodies and how we feel, the better we can get at noticing stress when it starts to come up and then reverse engineering it. So you notice, oh, my jaw is tense. Oh, my hands are clenched. Oh, I'm not breathing deeply. What's going on here? And then you can go in, you can soften, you can breathe, and start to help yourself feel better. Take about one more round, moving, wiggling. However you're moving, have fun with it. Get into it. And we'll meet in child's pose. In child's pose, knees can go wide, big toes can touch in the back. And your head can rest against the floor, or hands stack and head rests on top of the hands. Now that's not comfortable for everybody. You could also, if this isn't working for you, have your knees, your hips rather, lifted above your knees, your forearms on the ground, maybe your head resting down so your knees don't have to bend quite so much back. And you can also lay flat on your belly. If this is not feeling comfortable for your knees, just lie down on your belly. It's a resting pose, so we want it to feel comfortable. You can come to child's pose anytime you want, in any class. Go to child's pose if you need a break, you need to catch your breath, or you're just having a day where you just want to be in child's pose a little longer. You're in child's pose together. Let's let our hips sink back. Relax your belly, relax your chest. Relax your jaw. Remember your reason for being here. Notice the color of the water around you. And feel that transformation doesn't happen in one giant step sometimes. It's coming to your mat consistently, practicing consistently, starting with today. Nice and easy. Your next breath in, lift your hips away from your heels. Bring your hands a little forward of your shoulders. Prepare to practice down dog. So if you've done yoga before, you've probably done a down dog. If you've never done yoga before, maybe you haven't. It can feel a little challenging at first, but let's take it step by step. So we'll tuck our toes. You're in table, toes are tucked, hands a little forward of the shoulders. Feel your index knuckle mound. So that's the part of your palm that's the very top of your palm before your finger starts, and press into there. Tuck your toes. Let your knees hover an inch above your mat and pull your navel in towards your spine. This is probably the most challenging thing we'll do today. We'll hold for 5, 4, lift navel, 3, 2, 1. Keep lifting your knees, lifting your hips, straighten your arms, and imagine you're trying to press your butt into the intersection of the ceiling and the wall behind you. Your body's making an upside down V, but your knees might still be quite bent. Aim for a long spine and long arms, more than straight legs. If the backs of your legs feel pretty open, you can straighten them. If they're not quite there, bend your knees, pedaling out side to side. If you feel good in downward facing dog, feel free to stay here, keep breathing and stretching. If you are like, this does not feel very good, Jackie, what is this? Come back down onto your knees, take a load off, and if you are staying in down dog, feel free to come to child's pose as you're ready. I just want to step through a couple things in downward facing dog, a couple common ways that it isn't comfortable for people at first, and how we might be able to help with that. So one thing is the wrists can hurt. And to help with that, spread out your hands and imagine you're making a full palm print into wet cement. At the same time you're pressing down, think of trying to pick up 2 balls with your hands. So you're kind of gripping into your fingertips too. And that will recruit muscles in your forearm and your shoulder and take more weight out of your wrist. The second common thing is that it feels like all the weight's dumping forward into your shoulders and there's too much blood rushing to your head and your back feels rounded, and that does not feel very good either. So to help with that, let's come back to table. Do that hand thing I just said where palms reach down and almost like you're gripping onto 2 balls, so hands are really strong. Then lift your knees, lift your hips like we just did. Push the floor away with your hands and imagine there's a thick rope wrapped around your waist that's lifting your hips up and back. Bend your knees a little bit here and see if you can do the thing with your hands and the hips lifting up and back. And maybe that feels like some weight's being lifted off of your shoulders, off of your hands, and back into your hips. Now, if you can keep that and straighten your legs and stretch your hamstrings, do. If straightening your legs dumps the weight forward again, then just don't. Just don't worry about it right now, especially for our first downward facing dog. Okay, I think it's probably time to not be upside down. Start walking your hands from downward facing dog back towards your feet. Your feet are a little bit wider than your hips. Knees are a little bit bent. We'll nod and shake the head. And then slowly roll up the spine, but keep all the density. Keep the weight down in your legs and your feet, like you're a statue with statue legs. Okay, come up to stand. Feel your 10 toes again. You guys can stay facing the direction you are. I'm just going to move here. And take a nice big stretch up. Just stretch so it feels good. Arms reach up. Let this stretch turn into another stretch. Don't even think of what's a yoga pose or what you're doing. I'd just like you to stretch, to open the chest, to stretch your sides. Maybe you go into a fold. You can grab hands behind your back. Move so it feels good. Roll your shoulders maybe. Roll your neck, feel your whole body and breathe. Feel yourself here on your mat, starting this practice today, and slowly come back to standing, back to stillness, with the arms relaxed comfortably at the sides. Feet are a little bit wider than hips. Spread out your toes like paper fans. Broaden and soften the center of your feet into the ground. Okay, mountain pose. Knees a little soft. Navel drawing in a little bit. So there's a little strength in your core. Shoulders are soft. And the back of the skull lifting again. With your inhale, arms go up nice and wide. Exhale, arms wide and fold. Make it feel nice. We're reaching the arms back so the chest can expand. We come all the way down to the legs. Then a half lift, but think more of lifting your sternum away from your belly button, lengthening sternum away from belly button, and looking slightly forward. Exhale, fold. An inchworm walk your hands forward. Back to downward facing dog. Maybe you're like, oh, great, this again. It'll feel easier and easier the more you do it, I promise. Wide arms, strong arms, wide palms rather, strong arms, heels reaching towards the ground. Feel that rope lifting hips up and back again. Draw your low belly in. Keep it as you softly lower your knees down to the floor, back to table with the arms slightly forward of where they are. Okay. Inhale, cat pose. Exhale, hips sink back down to child's pose or your variation if it's not comfortable. We take 3 breaths. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale, release tension in the chest, in the belly. One more breath. Now shift forward to hands and knees. Palms are nice and wide. Let's learn a lunge next. First, tuck your right toes and reach your right leg back behind you so your kneecap faces the ground and you're pressing into the ball of your foot. Now remember what I said at the beginning about sending the strength where you need it and relaxing where you don't? Practice that here by relaxing your face, untensing your jaw, drawing your navel in. Then lift your right leg up so it parallels the ground. So use the back of your leg to lift. As you exhale, bend your knee so your heel comes in towards your seat. And then knee towards your nose. Think cat pose where spine was rounded at the start. Re-extend your leg. Inhale. Exhale, heel to seat. Knee to chest. And one more time. Long, strong leg, relaxed where you can be. This time, knee bends, heel to seat, knee towards the nose, and step your foot between your hands. If you need your blanket underneath your back knee, go ahead and grab it. Spread out the front foot. Imagine your outer hips drawing towards each other. Push down into your front foot and bring your hands to your hips. So here we are in a Anjaneyasana variation. It's strong through the legs, light in the upper body. Back toes can be tucked or untucked, up to you. Front foot's reaching into the floor, and your low belly's drawing in. You can leave your hands at your hips, or if you'd like, arms stretch up and overhead. Draw outer hips towards each other, or you can think of inner thighs drawing in towards each other like you're holding a cantaloupe between your legs. That old familiar feeling. One more breath in, expanding the chest. And exhale, hands go back to the floor. Left hand stays down, right arm reaches up in a twist towards your right knee. Take one more breath in here, expanding through the arms. And exhale, hand back to the floor. Inhale, stretch out your front leg with the toes pointing up. Exhale, rebend. Okay. Lift your back knee as you breathe in. Let's try and step back to downward facing dog with the breath out. Stretch both legs. Notice if there's a difference side to side. Lower your knees softly to the ground. Walk your hands in so your wrists are beneath your armpits. Stretch your left leg back behind you. Relax your face and jaw. Lift the back of your left thigh. Reach back through your heel. Inhale, lift your heel up. Exhale, bend your knee so your heel goes towards your butt and then knee goes towards your chest. Re-extend, inhale. Exhale, heel towards seat, knee towards chest. One more time, inhale. Exhale. This time to step through. Foot to the ground, hands to the ground. And maybe you don't have blocks at home today, but if you do, you could use them under your hands. And in the future, if you get a set of blocks, sometimes it's good to just place those underneath your hands here. Outer hips draw towards each other, feet press down, hands lift up. To the hips at first, we sit lower into the hips, stay strong through the legs, low belly drawing in, chest broad, arms lift. Remember your intention. Remember your reason for starting this practice, your journey, your transformation, one day at a time, one practice at a time, one breath at a time. Exhale, hands go back down. Inhale, that twist with the left arm lifting. Left arm lifting. Another breath in to expand. And we breathe out to bring the hands back down. Breathe in to stretch out the front leg, flex the ankle so your toes go up and you feel this stretch in the back of your thigh. And let it go, bend the knee, bring it forward. Lift your back knee up so the leg feels strong and long, lifting the back thigh. And back to downward facing dog. Breathe in here. Breathe out here. One more breath in, feel your whole body stretch. Exhale, knees lower down to the ground. Back to a child's pose. Hips fold towards the heels, chest and belly go down towards the ground. This pose or your variation, and arms wherever they're comfortable. So you could stack the hands, rest the head on the hands. Arms can be back at the sides. And again, if child's pose isn't comfortable, take something that is, something that can help you feel back, grounded like a little seed full of potential. And just in the way a seed doesn't spring into a tomato plant overnight, requires sunlight and water every day, nutritious soil. The same is true with your transformation. To be sustainable, to be real, to be natural, it's one day at a time. It's a little bit, an appropriate amount, one day at a time. From here, shift forward to a table pose, a little seed, and feet out to the side. Legs stretch forward, and toes point towards the ceiling. You can sit up on your blanket again, or you can use your hands to move some real estate back Feel your sitting bones on the ground. And stretch your arms up and overhead. So sitting bones reaching down, spine long, will fold towards the legs. If you get your feet, cool. If not, also cool. You can hold onto your ankles, to your shins, wherever you got. Feel length in the whole back of your body. Let your head relax. Just breathe here. Breathe so it feels good. Releasing your feet to your legs. Slowly come back up. And find a nice seat. You can relax your feet right now. Feel good that you have mostly finished this practice. You've come back to your mat or started your practice on your mat just for today. This great first step back into your practice or into your yoga practice. Bend your knees, feet come to the ground, roll down onto your back. I'm going to stay seated, but you go ahead and roll down. You can either have your knees bent like before, like how we started, or your legs extended if it feels okay for your low back. Feel your head, your shoulders, your hips, your feet. Feel your whole body and breathe. Feel yourself here on this day, on this stage of your journey, and breathe. Remember your intention, why you're here. If there's any other final movements or adjustments you'd like to make before you can lie still on your back for a few minutes in Shavasana, which is the pose that we end yoga classes with, feel free to do that. If you have your blanket around and your low back's not quite comfortable, you can roll it up and place it underneath your knees, and that can help. And if you're just not comfortable lying on your back, feel free to find a seat, or you can take your legs up the wall, just a place where you can be still for a few minutes, integrate your practice, and just have some precious, potent moments of quiet. I'm going to guide us through it. It can be tempting, especially at home and online, to skip out on this part, but please don't. It's just a few minutes, and it's really essential. So however you found yourself comfortable in Shavasana, let your body feel spread out and spacious. And imagine your bones turning to stone, sinking down towards the ground. Your muscles around your bones softening, the corners of your mouth, your eyes, the space between your brow. Everything softening. And even your organs, your internal organs, sinking back like leaves floating to the back of a pond in winter, to the bottom of a pond. And let your breath be effortless, quiet, and soft. Let your mind be effortless. Let it travel, wander, wonder. Come to your heart, back to your intention for practice. Remember what it is, where you're going, and let it go. Feel yourself connect to that which is bigger than you, whatever that means to you. And allow yourself to rest here effortlessly, quietly, alive. Now I'll leave you here. Stay for at least 10 more breaths. If you can, stay much longer. Thank yourself for showing up today, for starting this sustainable journey of transformation, practicing one day at a time, starting from where you are. Thank you so much for joining me, and I hope you have a beautiful day.